everyone. My name is Frank Driscoll, and welcome to Driscoll's Election Dissection, your election analysis for Across the Circus. I hope you are all doing well today, wherever you are, and I hope you all had a great holiday season. I hope you're having a wonderful start to the new year, 2024, which is going to be a really big year in terms of elections, especially for our little program. So it's been a while since we've made a show here. It was right before Election Day 2023. And I would like to go over everything that went on that day, but, we'd probably be here a while if we did. Well, basically, it was a great night for incumbents like Andy Beshear and Tate Reeves and them, and nearly every prediction that was set out came true. No real upsets here. So, yeah, you can go back and listen to that if you want to and do your own research of how they came up. So we're going to move right along. In just a short time, the 2024 presidential primary nominating process will begin. It all starts on the 15th of January, that's a Monday, where the Iowa caucuses will take place for the Republican presidential nominating calendar. Now you're probably wondering, well, aren't the Democrats doing that too? No, they are not. You see, the Democrats have changed their primary calendar up. They want South Carolina to be their first primary, and that caused a real dilemma with the state of New Hampshire, who usually always has their primary first. So the New Hampshire primary is not being sanctioned by the Democratic National Committee, which means Joe Biden is actually not a candidate on that ballot. You can write his name in, but if you're a Democrat in New Hampshire, you have to do that if you want to vote for him. So far it's been a fascinating nominating season, and I would like to say this about the presidential primary calendar for this year. If you're turning into this program and you're looking for a weekly in-depth analysis of the presidential primary nominating calendar for this year, you are not going to find it. Now, let me explain why. Now, for one thing, the presidential primary this year seemed to be somewhat evident. Donald Trump is polling very high against his numerous challengers, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, Chris Christie, etc. So much so that it looks very likely that he will win the nomination at this point, barring any major consequence with his legal proceedings or what. And plus, although Joe Biden has a somewhat formidable challenger in Representative Dean Phillips, it doesn't seem likely that Mr. Phillips will make any impact in the Democratic side. So these aren't going to be close. On top of that, you can tune into really any news station on television, whether it be on network, ABC, NBC, CBS, whatever, or even on cable, CNN, Fox News, News Nation, all them, or even just go on social media, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, all that stuff. You'll see them talking about the presidential election on a near daily, if not hourly basis. And this program, in my opinion, has a much more definitive approach where I think it's important to discuss some election contests that aren't getting a lot of talk on the news stations. Like you saw me talking about on our first show for that matter, special elections in Rhode Island and Utah. If you were living outside of those areas, you had no idea what the heck was going on there. And if you remember, it's some pretty fascinating stuff, if I say so myself. Yeah, that's what I intend to keep going with this show. So you're not going to see episodes every week about the presidential primaries, but you will see episodes here and then about some other elections going on throughout the states on the primary calendar. Case in point, in the U.S. Senate, there are set to be some very close contests. Arizona, I believe, is going to be one. Ohio, Montana, as well as some close primaries, as well as one in California, and the Maryland primary should be fascinating too, as well as some governor elections as well that are set to be really close. The one in New Hampshire, which a lot of pundits are going to be looking at, as well as the state of North Carolina, which is a lot closer than you would imagine, believe it or not. And something I hope to branch into this year is elections internationally. For example, the U.S. is not the only country to have a presidential election. The country of Mexico will have one this year too. And I would like to have a little discussion about that, get a little insight from our neighbors south of the border and see how they're voting in this year. And perhaps our friends across the pond too. There's word going on that the United Kingdom might have a snap election this calendar year. I would love to talk about that if given the chance. And of course, something I love to talk about, as you may know from this program, the special elections, including one in New York. the 3rd Congressional District, there will be a special election in just a few weeks' time, and I will definitely have a show right before then. So that is a general look of how this year is going to go. Okay, and I hope you'll be here to listen and maybe learn something new about the political process throughout this great big country. And lastly, although I may not be dissecting it, I would like to say this. If you are a Republican voter in the state of Iowa, or a Democratic voter in the state of New Hampshire, or really any primary coming up, whether you're a Republican voter or a Democratic voter, I really do not care who you vote for, but I do care that you vote. So please do. And thank you for listening to Driscoll's Election Dissection. If you'd like to learn more about the show, go online to algidproductions.com/acrossthecircus and be sure to listen to us on any podcasting form you like. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you all very soon.